You live in a world where every thought, every decision, and every belief you hold may not truly be your own. The information age promised enlightenment, but in the shadows lurk forces that twist truth into deception. They want your mind. They want your soul. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the dark, insidious tactics used to manipulate public opinion. Because knowing the enemy is the first step toward freedom, the mirage of choice. Imagine walking into a marketplace filled with 1,000 different products. The colors, the logos, the slogans, they all scream for your attention, each promising to be better than the last. But what if I told you that behind those myriad choices lies a single guiding hand? That the illusion of choice is one of the most powerful weapons used to manipulate you? You see, the more choices you think you have, the more you feel in control. But in reality, those choices are often manufactured by the same few corporations, the same few voices, the same few agendas. They create the illusion of competition to keep you engaged, to make you believe you're making independent decisions. In truth, whether you choose option A, B, or C, you're still playing into their hands. Consider the media landscape. Dozens of news outlets, countless blogs, millions of social media accounts. Surely, there must be diversity in viewpoints, right? Yet, dig a little deeper, and you'll find that most of these platforms are owned by a handful of conglomerates. These giants control what you see, how you see it, and when you see it. They give you the illusion of choice while subtly guiding your opinions. But it's not just the media. This tactic extends into politics, consumer products, entertainment, every aspect of life. You're presented with a buffet of options, yet every dish is seasoned with the same ideology, the same narrative, the same message. The more choices they give you, the more they control you. Remember, the most effective form of control is the one you don't even realize is happening. When you think you're making choices freely, you let your guard down. But now that you know the game, it's time to start asking, who's really making the decisions here? And why? The psychology of fear. Fear. It's one of the most primal emotions known to man. It's a survival instinct, hardwired into our very DNA. But what happens when fear is no longer just a reaction to danger, but a tool wielded by those who seek to control? Welcome to the psychology of fear, where the threat is not the wolf at the door, but the one in your mind. Throughout history, fear has been used to unite, to divide, to conquer. Leaders and tyrants alike have exploited fear to push their agendas, to rally support, or to suppress dissent. The more afraid you are, the more likely you are to seek security, to follow blindly, to obey without question. In the modern world, the tactics may have evolved, but the principle remains the same. The media bombards you with stories designed to terrify: crime waves, health crises, terrorist threats, economic collapses. Each headline is carefully crafted to tap into your deepest anxieties, to make you feel like the world is on the brink of disaster. Why? Because fear sells. Fear keeps you glued to your screen, waiting for the next update, the next development, the next piece of information that might save you. Fear also makes you more susceptible to manipulation. When you're scared, you're more likely to accept extreme measures, to surrender your rights, to trust in authority without question. But here's the kicker. Most of the time, the things you fear the most aren't as dangerous as they seem. Yes, the world is a complex place with real threats, but the constant barrage of fear-mongering is designed to keep you in a state of heightened anxiety, where you're easier to influence, easier to control. The next time you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, ask yourself, is this fear genuine, or is it being fed to me? Who benefits from my fear? The more you question, the more you'll see the strings behind the curtain. The power of repetition. You're getting sleepy, very sleepy. Or at least, that's what they hope. Repetition is a hypnotist's best friend, and it's no different in the world of public opinion. The more you hear something, the more you believe it, even if it's not true. It's the oldest trick in the book, but it's still one of the most effective. Think about the last time you found yourself humming a jingle from a commercial or repeating a political slogan. Did you ever stop to think about why those words are stuck in your head? It's because repetition is a psychological tool that taps into your subconscious, planting ideas that eventually grow into beliefs. In the world of advertising, this tactic is used to make brands unforgettable. Repeat the name enough times and you'll start to associate it with reliability, quality, or whatever image the company wants to project. But when it comes to shaping public opinion, repetition serves a darker purpose. Take propaganda, for example. Repeating a lie often enough can make it indistinguishable from the truth. History is filled with examples where repeated falsehoods led entire populations to believe in ideas that were completely unfounded, often with devastating consequences. But it doesn't have to be a blatant lie. Sometimes, it's a subtle shift in language, a change in terminology, or the repetition of a particular narrative that slowly, over time, alters the way you think. Before you know it, what was once controversial becomes mainstream simply because you've heard it so many times. The key to resisting this tactic is awareness. The next time you hear a phrase, a slogan, or an idea repeated over and over, stop and ask yourself, why is this being repeated? Who stands to gain from me believing this? The more you question, the more you'll recognize the patterns of manipulation. Repetition is powerful, but it's not unbeatable. By staying vigilant and questioning the narratives you're fed, you can break free from the cycle and start forming opinions that are truly your own. The influence of authority. Authority. It's a word that commands respect, trust, and often unquestioning obedience. From the time you're a child, you're taught to listen to those in positions of power: teachers, parents, judges, leaders. But what happens when those in authority use their power not to guide, but to manipulate? When they exploit your trust to shape your beliefs, your actions, your very identity? In every society, authority figures are seen as the gatekeepers of truth. They're the ones who tell you what's right and wrong, what's real and fake, what's important and trivial. But just because someone is in a position of power doesn't mean they're infallible or that their intentions are pure. Consider how often you accept information simply because it comes from an authority figure. A politician makes a statement, a scientist presents a study, a news anchor delivers a report, and you take it at face value. But have you ever stopped to question the agenda behind that authority? The biases, the interests, the pressures that might be influencing their message? Throughout history, authority has been used to justify wars, to promote ideologies, to enforce laws that benefit the few at the expense of the many. And in the age of information, where voices of authority are amplified by media and technology, the potential for manipulation is greater than ever. But here's the thing: authority isn't just about titles or positions. It's about perception. The more someone appears knowledgeable, confident, and trustworthy, the more likely you are to believe them, even if they're leading you astray. This is why so much effort is put into building and maintaining the image of authority. A well-dressed expert on TV, a charismatic leader at a rally, a respected journalist, they all wield the power to shape your beliefs simply because they're seen as authorities. To break free from this influence, you must learn to question authority, not in a way that rejects expertise or knowledge, but in a way that critically evaluates the motives, the evidence, and the context behind the message. Ask yourself, is this authority figure presenting facts or opinions? Are they providing all the information or just what supports their agenda? The more you question, the less power they have over you. The bandwagon effect: everyone wants to belong. It's a fundamental human desire to be part of a group, to feel connected to others, to share in something bigger than yourself. But this desire can also be a powerful tool of manipulation. Enter the bandwagon effect, where the pressure to conform to the majority opinion can override your own judgment, your own beliefs, your own values. The bandwagon effect is all about momentum. The more people who jump on, the more appealing the bandwagon becomes. You see it in politics, where candidates gain support simply because they're leading in the polls. You see it in marketing, where products become popular because everyone else is buying them. And you see it in social movements, where ideas spread like wildfire because they're endorsed by celebrities, influencers, or large groups. In the digital age, the bandwagon effect is more potent than ever. Social media platforms are designed to amplify what's popular, what's trending, what's viral. The more likes, shares, and retweets something gets, the more likely you are to see it and the more likely you are to join in. It's a feedback loop that creates a sense of consensus, even if that consensus is based on nothing more than a temporary wave of popularity. But here's the danger. The bandwagon effect can lead you to adopt opinions and beliefs without fully understanding them. It can make you support causes, products, or ideas simply because everyone else is, without considering whether they truly align with your values or interests. It can even make you suppress your own opinions for fear of standing out or being ostracized. The key to resisting the bandwagon effect is to cultivate independent thinking. Don't be afraid to stand apart from the crowd, to question the majority opinion, to form your own conclusions. Just because something is popular doesn't mean it's right. And just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you should too. Remember, the bandwagon effect is a powerful force, but it's not unstoppable. By being aware of its influence and taking the time to think critically, you can stay true to yourself and avoid being swept along by the crowd. In a world where every thought, every belief, every choice can be influenced by unseen forces, the greatest act of rebellion is to think for yourself, to question everything, to seek out the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it goes against the grain. Because true freedom isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the right questions. The art of misdirection. Misdirection. It's the bread and butter of magicians, the secret behind every great illusion. The magician waves one hand to distract you, while the other hand performs the trick. But this isn't just a tool for entertainers. It's a tactic used daily in the manipulation of public opinion. In the world of information, misdirection is all about focus. What do they want you to see? And more importantly, what do they want to hide? By directing your attention to one story, one event, one controversy, they keep you from noticing something else, something that might be far more significant. Think about how often the news cycle shifts. One moment, you're consumed by a political scandal. The next, it's all about a celebrity's personal life. Meanwhile, critical issues like economic policies, environmental changes, or international conflicts get buried, pushed aside by the latest sensation. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a deliberate strategy to keep you focused on what's sensational, what's emotional, what's easy to digest, while the more complex and often more important stories are relegated to the background. This technique isn't limited to the media. Politicians use misdirection to divert attention from their failures or to shift the public discourse in their favor. Corporations use it to distract from unethical practices or to smooth over controversies. Even on social media, algorithms are designed to keep you engaged with trending topics, often at the expense of deeper, more meaningful content. Misdirection works because it plays on your limited attention span. You can only focus on so much at once, and those who control the flow of information know this all too well. By flooding you with distractions, they ensure that you don't have the time or energy to dig deeper, to see the bigger picture. The antidote to misdirection is mindfulness. Slow down. Take a step back. When you see a sensational story dominating the headlines, ask yourself, what else is happening right now? What's being overshadowed? By actively seeking out the stories that aren't being pushed in your face, you can start to see through the smoke and mirrors and focus on what really matters. The weaponization of data. In the digital age, it's the most valuable commodity on Earth. Every click, every like, every share. It's all recorded, analyzed, and stored. But this isn't just about advertising or convenience. It's about power. The power to predict, to influence, and to manipulate. Your data is more than just numbers on a screen. It's a window into your mind, your habits, your preferences, your fears, your desires. And those who control this data have the power to shape your world in ways you can barely imagine. Every time you use a search engine, browse a website, or engage on social media, you're leaving behind a trail of digital breadcrumbs. These breadcrumbs are collected by algorithms, which then piece together a detailed picture of who you are. But this data isn't just used to sell you products. It's used to sell you ideas, beliefs, even entire worldviews. Political campaigns, for example, rely heavily on data to target voters. By analyzing your online behavior, they can determine what issues you care about, what messages resonate with you, and how best to influence your vote. It's not about winning you over with ideas. It's about tailoring the message to fit your existing biases, fears, and desires. But it's not just politics. Data is used to shape public opinion on everything from social issues to consumer trends. By controlling the information you see, those in power can subtly influence your decisions, often without you even realizing it. They don't need to change your mind. They just need to guide you toward the conclusions they want you to reach. The problem is most of this happens behind the scenes. You don't see the algorithms at work, the data being analyzed, the decisions being made. All you see is the end result. A news feed tailored to your interests, an ad that seems oddly relevant, a piece of content that just happens to match your mood. The key to breaking free from this manipulation is to take control of your own data. Be mindful of what you share online. Use tools and platforms that prioritize privacy. And most importantly, diversify your sources of information. The more you expose yourself to different viewpoints, the harder it becomes for anyone to control your narrative. Data is powerful, but so are you. By being aware of how your data is used, you can start to reclaim your autonomy and resist the subtle forces that seek to manipulate you. The echo chamber effect. Imagine living in a room where the only voices you hear are echoes of your own. Every opinion you hold, every belief you cherish is mirrored back to you, reinforced over and over until it feels like the undeniable truth. This is the echo chamber effect, a modern-day prison for the mind. In today's digital world, it's easier than ever to surround yourself with information that confirms what you already believe. Social media algorithms, designed to keep you engaged, show you content that aligns with your preferences, your biases, your worldview. The more you like, the more you share, the tighter the chamber becomes. The echo chamber effect creates a bubble, isolating you from opposing viewpoints and reinforcing your existing beliefs. Over time, this bubble becomes your reality, making it harder to see outside perspectives, to challenge your own assumptions, to engage in meaningful dialogue. But the danger of echo chambers goes beyond individual beliefs. When entire groups of people are isolated in their own bubbles, society becomes fragmented. Conversations turn into shouting matches, debates become battles, and the common ground necessary for a healthy democracy erodes. The key to breaking out of the echo chamber is exposure to diverse perspectives. Seek out voices that challenge your views, that make you uncomfortable, that force you to think critically. Engage in discussions with people who disagree with you, not to win the argument, but to understand where they're coming from. It's not easy. The echo chamber is comfortable, reassuring, familiar. But true growth happens when you step outside of it, when you confront ideas that challenge your worldview, when you open yourself up to the possibility that you might be wrong. Don't let the echo chamber trap you. Break free. Explore the world of ideas and embrace the discomfort of true intellectual freedom. Only then can you begin to see the full picture and form opinions that are truly your own. The manipulation of language. Words are more than just tools of communication. They're instruments of power. The way something is said can be just as important as what is said. This is the manipulation of language, where subtle changes in wording can alter perceptions, evoke emotions, and influence opinions. Language shapes reality. The words you use define how you see the world, how you interpret events, how you form your beliefs. Those who control language have the power to control thought, to frame debates, to set the terms of the conversation. Consider how media outlets use language. A protest might be described as a riot by one outlet and a peaceful demonstration by another. A government action might be called a reform by its supporters and a crackdown by its opponents. These aren't just semantic differences. They're deliberate choices that shape how you perceive the event. Political rhetoric is another prime example. Politicians use carefully crafted language to rally support, to demonize opponents, to obscure the truth. Euphemisms are employed to soften harsh realities, while loaded terms are used to provoke emotional reactions. But it's not just about headlines and speeches. The manipulation of language happens in everyday conversations, in social media posts, in the way we talk about issues that matter. Labels are attached to people, ideas, and movements, simplifying complex realities into easily digestible sound bites. To see through this manipulation, you must become aware of the power of language. Pay attention to the words being used, to the tone being conveyed, to the implications behind the phrasing. Ask yourself, why is this word chosen? What emotions is it trying to evoke? What perspective is it pushing? By questioning the language used to shape your thoughts, you can begin to take back control of your own mind. Don't let others define reality for you. Choose your words carefully. Think critically about the language you encounter, and be mindful of how words can be used to manipulate. The importance of media literacy. In a world saturated with information, media literacy is more important than ever. It's the ability to critically analyze the media you consume, to distinguish between fact and opinion, to recognize bias and propaganda. Without media literacy, you're at the mercy of those who control the narrative. Media literacy isn't just about understanding the news. It's about understanding how all forms of media work, from advertisements to social media posts to entertainment. It's about knowing who owns the media, who funds it, and what their interests might be. It's about being aware of the techniques used to influence your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. The media is not a monolith. It's a complex ecosystem of voices, each with its own perspective, its own agenda. To navigate this landscape, you need to be able to critically evaluate the information you're given. Don't take everything at face value. Look for multiple sources. Check the credentials of the authors. Consider the context in which the information is presented. But media literacy goes beyond just consuming information. It's also about creating it. In the digital age, everyone has the power to be a content creator, to share their voice with the world. With that power comes responsibility. Be mindful of the information you spread, the impact it can have, the truthfulness of your words. By becoming media literate, you empower yourself to be an informed citizen, a critical thinker, and a responsible communicator. In a world where misinformation and manipulation are rampant, media literacy is your shield against deception. Conclusion: the power of awareness. We've journeyed through the labyrinth of deception, uncovering the tactics used to manipulate public opinion. But remember, knowledge is only the first step. The true power lies in awareness. Awareness of these tactics, awareness of your own biases, awareness of the forces that seek to shape your thoughts and beliefs. In a world where manipulation is all around you, your greatest defense is your own mind. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay free. Don't let others think for you. Take back control, question everything, and never stop seeking the truth. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going. Together, we can create a world where truth prevails over deception.